When I first started taking tests, I did not understand dosages or
Right.
proportions. I took way too much test
yeah.
and not enough anti-estrogen. So what people don't understand about taking steroids is you're not just buying steroids.
What if the goal isn't to train harder, but to last longer? Sustainability. In a world obsessed with intensity, speed, and visible results, we rarely stop to ask a deeper question. Are we building bodies and lives that can sustain us? Today's conversation is about endurance in its truest form. Not just cardio capacity, not just muscle, but resilience, recovery, the discipline to move well for decades, not just seasons. We're diving into longevity, how we train, how we recover, how we adapt, from smart movement patterns to cold exposure, restoration, and the often overlooked power of slowing down. This episode challenges the idea that more is always better, because real strength isn't about burnout, it's about durability. It's about building something that truly lasts. Welcome back to the Mind Body Method. Today I'm talking to my buddy Trevor Franklin. Trevor is a co-founder and co-owner of Performance HQ here in Union Square, New York City. It's a luxury boutique gym. And I have known Trevor since the times of COVID. I've always had my eye on him. I admire his work ethic, and I just think he's an all-around brilliant man in the fitness and wellness space. So I'm excited for you all to hear and see what he has to say and what value he has to offer. So, hey, thanks for being here.
Very few people call me brilliant, so I'm very
Okay,
pleased by that. That's great. Not many. You and my mom, I think, are about it.
Perfect. Let's start with just who you are.
Yeah.
Maybe tell us a little bit about your background and what you're doing right now.
Yeah, I think Spark Notes version on me. Name's Trevor Franklin. Hello. I grew up in Lubbock, Texas, so I'm from Texas. Played a lot of sports growing up. I was always athletic. I played like 6 sports in high school, not because I was good by any means, but it was just they needed warm bodies. You know, I had 112 kids in my graduating class, I think. So got to play a lot of sports, got to be really active, really athletic, and I think that kind of sparked my career in the fitness industry because I've always loved working out. I've always loved health and wellness. It's done a lot of really cool things for me that we can probably get into later in this. But so yeah, kid from Lubbock, Texas. Dropped out of college when I was 21 years old, 22 years old, I guess. And then moved to New York City. When I moved to New York City, I wanted to be a model, you know, I wanted to be like on Times Square, like in my Calvin Kleins, you know. But then, you know, you move here and you realize you're not that good looking, you know what I mean? It's like
There's competition.
Yeah, there's like 80 other guys who are way
80?
more attractive at least.
Add another 0.
That was per
Not
street,
meaning
you know,
that they're more attractive than you. I'm just saying,
you know?
yeah, there's a lot of competition.
But yeah, thought I wanted to be a model. Moved to New York City though, and kind of refound my love for fitness. I mean, not that I didn't enjoy fitness when I moved over here, but that's what really sparked where I am today in my career. So I started in group fitness at Orangetheory, did that up until COVID. Right before COVID happened is when I did leave. COVID happened. I took on probably, gosh, I don't know, 20 or so new clients that had come from the Orangetheory class and just kind of followed me over. And I mean, that truly is what led to where I am today. And I would say today, I'm just kind of I would just say I'm a hustler, you know, like
You
I'm
are a
not
hustler.
and that's all it is. And that's not trying to say like braggadocious or anything, but like I am not a super smart business person, like naturally. A lot of my successes that you can call them have just happened because I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. A lot of it was just me writing checks and hoping, you know, to figure it out. And so right now, I'm a small business owner in New York City. Myself, and my business partner, Ben Fiden, own Performance HQ in New York. I would say it's kind of like a luxury, small, independent boutique fitness training studio, right? Like 800 words, but just a small luxury fitness facility is what we were hoping for it to be. You know, it operates as an independent training spot for contracted trainers to come out. So they're not our employees. They just come in, train their clients, do their thing, and jet and pay us per session or packages. And then we also offer small group fitness classes. We have 12 on the schedule right now with the hope of increasing those as we go.
But you've always I followed your journey whenever you were opening Performance HQ because you put it on social, and it was such a fun thing to watch the opening and the struggles of being this business owner in New York City and like your ideas of what it looked like from the beginning to like what it actually ended up being with budget and space, it like just all the different parameters that things if things could go wrong, they will.
All of them did.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like very few things went right, to be honest.
But so, you've had it now for how long? 2 years?
Yeah, we're a little over 2 years.
A little over 2 years. And is it at a place now where you envisioned it to be?
I try to think about that every like 6 to 8 months of like, okay, like, are we moving the needle in the right direction? Like, was this a good move on our part? And it's hard to tell because we're 2 years in. It's fascinating because I had a call with our accountant 3 days ago. I think he's on the phone and he's like, man, Trevor, like, what are you guys doing over there? Because your business is up 40% from last year. He's telling me that all excited. I'm like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Like, I still wake up every day
You don't feel it?
with heart palpitations, right? I'm like, we're one like broken pipe away from just being done, right? And then Performance HQ is wiped off the face of the earth, and that's how it feels. And I don't know how many small businesses out there feel like that, but it still feels like we're at day one, and we constantly have to be pushing, and there needs to be 1,000 things happening every single day, and we're lucky if we handle one.
But I mean, that is the thing is, though, you are the business owner, right?
Yeah.
You are working for yourself, just like myself, right? It's like there is such value in having that freedom and that control, even though there are days where you feel like you're being crushed and you feel like you're drowning, but you're not answering to anybody else. You're liable and responsible for yourself.
That is true. What I do love about business ownership, and basically the day after we opened where my shift occurred, was I like the fact that if we suck and if something is not going well, it's usually our fault. And so it makes it easy to be like, all right, like if we're going to fix something, I just got to kind of look in the mirror, and me and Ben have had several conversations about that, because the frustrations prior to being open was, okay, why is our contractor not finishing X, Y, and Z on time? Why do we have to pay an expediter to maybe save us 48 hours? And why was he $10,000, right? Like, why am I emailing our congressperson in our local area that I've never heard of, know nothing about, but supposedly if you email them, it'll save you an extra 48 hours. Like, all that was really frustrating because it really felt out of my control. And so I just felt like I was writing these checks into the ether, and it wasn't, like, I was gaining no value from that. Like, I didn't really learn much from that aside from signing my name more. But then once we opened, it's like, all right, like, now I have the opportunity to take control of certain things. And if they're not working, we can just change it, which is kind of cool. And there have been several things where we make small changes. I'm like, man, are we just stupid? Like, why did we not? Prime example, we just got a bunch of new hoodies. They're beautiful. They're very comfortable. We have them in our back room, right? We had them for a month and a half and made 2 sales, I think. I was like, what are we doing wrong, right? We literally bought a command strip at a hardware store across the street, right? Like a command strip to put it on a wall.
Right.
Put one hoodie on the wall, 15 sales in 48 hours.
Amazing.
I'm like, you're telling me we could have made $2,000
right.
and 2 or 3 weeks ago, And so, I mean, that's obviously a small example, but that I think is what business ownership is. And what I love about the business ownership is that it is in my control now, which at least I know that if we failed, it's on me, right? I can't blame other things.
Well, so like when I first met you, just backstory for my viewers and listeners, we met during COVID times in Chelsea Park because, gyms were shut down and we took our business to the park outdoors so we could train our clients and show up for our clients, and we would lug and bring all of our weights, our kettlebells, I mean, whatever it is. And you and I kind of, we met on this soccer/baseball field in Chelsea, and we kind of just held up shop there and made it our own. And we saw each other day after day after day, both hustling. And you were one of the trainers on that field that also just had a consistent
all day
client all day. We were there for 12 hours sometimes.
It was crazy.
But you always showed
had a great
up.
tan.
You always showed up with we did. I was so tan. I was also very fit because I was always just like outside, like doing all this kettlebell work. But you always showed up and you always had energy and good attitude, and your clients loved you. And I always took notice of that. I've always respected watching you work during that time, and that's whenever I, started having my eye on you. And so the question is, when now as this business owner in where you have your own space, are there times when you're walking into your space, are you feeling that same kind of excitement with training your clients, or do you walk into the space stressed because you're a business owner? Like, has it shifted? Has it gone over to a different level of thought process is when you're going to work?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think I do a pretty good job of separating it to the best of my ability. Because, like, to your point, like, what I love about my clients and personal training in general is that, like, people come to me, and you know how it is, like, we wear a bunch of hats. And so
Right.
I want to be a source of positivity for all of my clients. And, like, I want to be like their shot of espresso, right? Like, my objective is to bring really good energy for them and deliver a really nice experience. And so where I've really tried to establish kind of a black and white line with my clients, like, I'm not going to bitch to them about what's going wrong in our business unless it's something they ask for, right? But I don't want to spend an hour talking to them about all of our troubles.
Right.
If I'm going to do that, it's going to be to Ben, my business partner, Mal, my girlfriend. She's great about listening. Or people like you, right? Like, people that understand the trials and tribulations of trying to run your own thing. But like, I would rather be the therapist to my clients and not them be my therapist, if
Right.
that makes sense. And so I'd like to think I'm able to turn it off during the hours that I have clients, but there's overlap, right? Like, we might be in the middle of a session and a plumber comes up and he's like, hey, we're here to check on X, Y, and Z. Or, you know, I don't know, our water delivery doesn't happen on time, or there's like a leak in the trash can, or our cold plunge flows over. And then in those moments, I'm like, oh, shit.
Right.
Obviously super stressed, but I do my best to separate those two.
Are you, do you take a lot of personal clients still? I mean, are you a lot of one-on-ones, or are you more running the brand?
I still do quite a bit of both, I'd like to say, especially in the new year. I would say I average 5 to 8 sessions a day.
Okay.
Like, 5 is where I like to be, to be honest. Like, 5 to 6, I can handle pretty well.
Yep.
When I get to that 7, 8 mark, it's kind of, last couple clients, you're struggling,
Yeah.
you know, like,
I mean,
extra
like
caffeine.
when I'm doing my like 11th or 12th.
Yo,
I was
yeah.
like, just don't talk to me. Just do your work.
Got your workout written on the board. I'm going to sit in the corner and just like think about my feelings. Yeah.
I don't want to hear about your day.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's mainly that. And then I would say that my role when it comes to the business portion, I try to handle the financial stuff. So I'm constantly checking on our business account, making sure that we've, you know, paid the vendors on time, that we're not going to get an overdraft fee from our loan, that there's enough money in the business account to handle X, Y, and Z that we need. And then also the administrative portion, I try to take on as much load of that as I can. And it really comes down to the client facing, excuse me, the back end of, like, if somebody needs to cancel a membership, if they need a refund because they got double charged, if on Mind Body, you know, they want to switch class from Tuesday to Thursday, just random things. Like, I usually handle that because when I was at Orangetheory, I was regional fitness educator.
Right.
And so I did a lot of the administrative work there. So I have a little bit of experience there. I'm by no means like a mind body wizard, but that's a little bit more of my role on
It's
the day
also
to
nice
day.
to have the balance, like having something else to do besides just having a client all
Yeah.
day long, you know, having your focus on something else.
Mm-hmm.
Has your training style changed at all over the past couple of years, owning the actual facility itself, as far as the way you're, you know, coaching your clients, walking them through their programs? Are you, you know, have you evolved or shifted in any way from?
I mean, I wouldn't say that my style has changed a whole lot because, I mean, I'm sure you're similar. It's like I like to be a chameleon. So whatever my client may need, I'll adapt to them and what their goals are. And obviously, if there's a glaring issue, make a change or offer advice or whatever. But majority of my clients, they come to me with, you know, maybe 3 to 4 goals that they have. Like each client has a goal that fits into 3 to 4 boxes, and we can accomplish that with everything that we have in the gym. I mean, I wish we had more machines, obviously. I wish we had 10,000 square feet and we had a bunch of machines and all sorts of different things that we could get a little more creative. But, you know, for the most part, most of my clients just want to get stronger, want to, you know, feel better about moving. They want to get more confidence in the gym. And like, we can handle that with dumbbells, racks, kettlebells, and cardiovascular machines.
I mean, you're such a runner, or used to be, I guess. Like, would you consider yourself a like heavy endurance coach?
Most of my endurance coaching is more online, to be honest. So I still have an online coaching platform that I'll field maybe 10 to 15 clients. I don't like to overload that too much. Just I feel like I can't offer a good service if it gets above 20. I just don't, you know, I don't make the time for it. My in-person clients, if they are racing and they are doing big endurance stuff, they more often than not come to me for the strength training that benefits the running. So that typically will include just a lot more single leg work, Bulgarian split squats, single leg deadlifts, lateral lunges, things that they probably don't want to do on their own because most people don't love those movements, myself included. But they want the strength that will help them be a better runner long term. So we're thinking of it as like prehab almost, right? Like I want you to be a little more bulletproof when it comes to getting into a 16-week training block for a marathon, a triathlon, whatever it is. And so that is how I would structure for an endurance athlete. But I would say most of my clients now, they're probably between, gosh, I don't know, 30 and 50. And most of them just want to be stronger. Like that's the general objective of most of my in-person clients.
What's your, I know that you've had some injuries recently.
Yeah.
So how has that changed your personal program for yourself? And what are you doing right now about your injuries?
Most of my program now is just being in a deep, dark pit of depression, to be completely honest. Like that is really it. I wake up every day and I'm just
really
sad. Yeah. It's awful. Like it really is. And like it affects a lot of things in my personal life, like this injury, just because, I mean, I've been injured before. Most of the time, I don't know, 2-4 weeks, right? And I'm usually back in business. It's totally fine. This one has been 16 weeks ongoing, bone bruise. Yeah. And I think the frustrating part of it, you feel like you lose a lot of your identity because for the past 3 years, my entire identity has been, I'm going to compete a lot. I'm going to do a bunch of races. And the whole objective there is just to get better, right? I like competing at a high level. I like, feeling the adrenaline of being in the middle of a race. Like I truly enjoy that. And it's a big part of my business as well. Like when it comes to social media, I make a decent amount of income off running, biking, swimming, doing endurance activities.
Yeah, your social media, you definitely give a good rush for people, right? It's like, it's very, very influential to see what you do. So I can imagine it's being difficult.
And that's what I love, right? And so when the injury initially happened, I was like, all right, this is fine.
And tell us what the injury is.
Oh, yeah. So bone bruise of my left femur. Apparently, I overtrained for probably 2 or 3 years. Not a huge shock. But what's interesting is, every DEXA scan I've got, any bone scan I've got, my bone density is off the charts. Good. So it's a frustrating experience for me and I think the most frustrating part about the injury is I don't really know what to do to help it, right? Doctors are saying deload, cool. I stopped running. I haven't ran in like 16 weeks, right? Still, it's healing, just slow. And there's just days where I feel like, I just feel like a gimp, like I feel like I'm just useless, in this part of my body, like the leg isn't really mine. And so mentally it's taxing. It's very frustrating. But anyway, so when the injury first happened, MRI, bone bruise, cool. Stay off your leg for 8 to 12 weeks. Right. I was like, all right, no problem. I'll go back to my bodybuilding roots, right? When I first got into fitness, I was a bodybuilder. I was on a bunch of steroids. I was on gear, right? I was jacked.
We're going to talk about that.
I was like, yeah, let's go back to being jacked. That sounds great. So, I'm back to 3 to 4 days a week of just heavy lifting, gained probably 10 to 15 pounds. That was actually kind of nice. I enjoyed feeling strong again. Then I got like golf elbow. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, what do you mean I can't bicep curl 5 days a week and completely be fine, And so then you're like, all right, cool. Like I got to make another shift. And so, now my workouts, I'll probably work out 3 to 4 days a week. I mean, I'm still getting over 10,000 steps a day. Like that's kind of my objective, but I almost feel like a retired athlete. It's like all my workouts now are more physical therapy driven. So it's like, how can I deload certain things? How can I load certain things properly? Like, how can I move through complete ranges of motion so that my body feels good day in and day out? And, look, I understand that that's really important for longevity. Like, that's probably how I'm going to move for a majority of my life once I get past a certain age. But I still feel like I'm still in my prime. What?
You're 32.
I know, right? But it's like I've seen the tea leaves. Like, I've seen people that have lived my exact life, right? Like, I've been around them that have done this. And so I know I've got 8 to 10 good years of racing, right? Before family, kids, all those things happen, right? And so it's frustrating to me feeling like I'm out of it for quite a long time during this like quote unquote prime era. But again, all things happen for a reason.
Do you like because you've been an athlete your whole life? Do you like incorporating the business aspect of you into your day-to-day, right? So it's like, because that takes a huge amount of space in your head and in your effort. So now you're balancing the two. Like, is it fun for you to have the two things that you're balancing every day, or does it feel overwhelming? Like, do you see yourself as a business owner / athlete for the rest of your career?
Yes. And that is another kind of, it was a shift I had to prioritize early on, because when we were launching the gym, I was training for marathons. I was still doing my big training blocks. And I just felt like I was failing on all fronts. And I kind of had to come to the conclusion on my own of like, there's going to be seasons through the year where I'm going to need to, you know, I'll have the opportunity to prioritize maybe getting ready for one race a year, but I can no longer do like 4 races in a year and feel like I'm completely prepared, you know, and that I think it's like anything else. You can't take on 10 things and expect to be really successful in all 10. You're probably going to be shit at all 10, right? Like below average across 10 things. So my goal the last, I would say, year is like, all right, how can I be a business owner first and like put my best foot forward when it comes to business ownership, and then let the athletic side of it kind of take a back seat. Like I still want to be able to compete and, you know, be fairly competitive, but I think one has to always be in front of the other.
Right.
It's, in my experience, and it's probably just because I'm not great at my time management, it would be really, really tough to be high level at both.
Right.
Like I wouldn't consider myself high level at both at all. Like I think I still have a lot to learn when it comes to business ownership and growth and development. And then really with the training, it's just time. You know, that's, I think if I spent 2 or 3 hours a day focusing on my health, wellness, and fitness, I'd probably be in a lot better place overall.
I think like being an entrepreneur like myself, as you are, you know, it's trial and error.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, our bodies and our, like, that's kind of our platform. And so, you know, it takes a lot of like back and forth to figure out exactly what works for us to be able to be marketable and sellable. And then on top of that, creating a business and having, you know, a gym or being an entrepreneur, it's a lot of work. There's a lot of moving pieces. When you were younger, and I'm bringing this up because, you know, you were on my my monthly talks before for the collective, and we talked a little bit about your use of steroids and testosterone and things like that in the past. Let's talk about that and tell me a little bit about your feelings of an athlete then versus now, and how, like, what's your opinion on the two different variations?
Yeah. So the reason, I'll start with the reason I got into steroids in my overall experience, if that's all right. So I was 21 years old, living in Lubbock, Texas. The gym that I was personal training at, it was more of a bodybuilder style gym, right? Also, this was, what year was this? 2015, probably. Like that's when like the Steve Cooks of the world were up and coming, like these dudes who just looked unreal, right? And I was like, I want to look like that. And I've never really been a patient person in my life, ever, right? Like I'd like to think I have pretty good work ethic, but patience has really never been a virtue of mine. And so at this point, I'm 21. I'd worked out consistently, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years, whatever, whenever you start working out in middle school or whatever. And I was like, all right, I'm 21, right? I got a whole life ahead of me, but it seems like testosterone, tren, and Dianabol would be a really good idea. You know, I had friends that were all on it because they were 30s or whatever, and so they were like, "We're into this."
I mean,
So
that's really young to be on these things. I'm not a huge like expert on any of these things, but yeah, I know 21 is young.
Very. So I decided I wanted to be a bodybuilder at that point. This is before all the modeling stuff, before any of that. I was like, I want to go be Steve Cook, right? Like I want to go be one of these bodybuilder guys who does a show. And so everything I read was like, all right, you got to do a massive bulking phase, you do a cutting phase, you have a ton of muscle, be like 5% body fat, whatever. So found a guy who could supply me with all these drugs. Started taking them. Before, though, I did go consult my a primary care physician. It was a doctor of mine in town. I was like, hey, look, here's what I want to do. Give me the best and worst case scenario. And, you know, his reasoning was, look, I don't recommend this, obviously. If you're going to do this, you are 21 years old. So if you do it for a year and come off, theoretically speaking, your body should be able to start producing testosterone at a normal level because of your youth, right? Because when you take synthetic testosterone, your body automatically stops producing it. And that's the hardest part when you come off of a cycle, is getting your body to naturally reproduce your testosterone. Older you get, the harder it is to do that. So it's like you have kind of an interesting, unique opportunity here to take synthetic testosterone, take the anabolic steroids on top of that, probably see some crazy, insane results, and then get off of it in a healthy way to where your testosterone should come back to some sort of normal levels. So it's like, great, let's do it. So yeah, I ran test, trend, Dianabol. I probably did that for, 14 weeks. And then I was doing test, Winstrol, and HGH.
That's a harsh combination.
Crazy. What was
Winstrol, isn't that the one that gives you the cough?
I had a lot of things wrong with me, that's for sure. But I was jacked. I could walk into any gym that I went to, probably in that 16-week period, I was either like the biggest guy or the most like shredded dude. Like it was awesome.
I was crazy.
Yeah, I was training chest 4 days a week. No need for. There was no like soreness or whatever. I recovered insanely fast. My chest, however they measured that, it went from like a 36 to a 42. Like it was crazy, right? Like I was just yoked. I looked ridiculous in clothes, but I was massive. And so I personally, it's a really cool feeling when you're on it, right? Like that was awesome, being super strong and just jacked. But then when I ended up coming off of it, like I dealt with just a bunch of different dumb stuff. Like I had a knee issue when I came off of it just from, because I was still playing sports. Like I was 240 pounds. I had shortness of breath. I would get nosebleeds sporadically, randomly. I had really bad back acne. Dude, walking upstairs, I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. You know what I mean? I just had no cardiovascular fitness at all. Then when I came off of it, I also dealt with some issues. I also 240 or so pounds. I was playing.
You were 240?
Dude, I was a meatball. I'll send you some pictures so you can see. But
I mean, you're 5'11".
6 foot.
Oh, sorry.
Josh. Are you kidding? I'm going to leave. Get me the hell out of here. 6 foot and a little more maybe. But yeah, massive. I was huge. And I was still playing basketball, volleyball. I was playing high impact sports. And I think it led to, I had some knee issues when I came off of all of that. I had some cartilage that was floating around, just different things. So I had to have a knee surgery. It was, they scoped, no big deal. But I also had gynecomastia surgery.
Oh.
Yeah, because when I first started taking tests.
And how old was that? How old were you?
I had the surgery when I was 24. I had the surgery here in New York.
Wow.
Yeah, I had it in Long Island or something. But
because of the test? Wow.
Yes. So when I first started taking tests, I did not understand dosages or proportions. I took way too much test and not enough anti-estrogen. So what people don't understand about taking steroids is you're not just buying steroids, right? You got to buy test. You got to buy the actual steroids. Then you have to have two separate types of needles. One to get the test out, one to put the test in. When you take test, you also have to take anti-estrogen, because if not, and this is what I did, I didn't understand the anti-estrogen part. I was just taking tests, thinking that's all you needed. I had these pyramid nipples. You know what I mean? Like it looked like a couple of, And so that didn't go away even when I came off it. And even when I added anti-estrogen in it, it was too late. Like I just had these glands that, I can't remember what the gland is called, but some people get it naturally when they go through puberty. But I had so much test in my body, led to these like cone nipple things. And I didn't wear a light colored shirt for probably 2 years.
Wow.
Like I was like, it looked awful.
How much test were you taking?
I started like 750, I think was the number. I remember telling my doctor how much it was, and he was like, "What's wrong with you?"
Dude, you're 21.
And I was like, "Bro, I didn't know. We didn't have ChatGPT then." You know what I mean? And you couldn't really Google it because it was so taboo. Nobody wanted to talk about it back then.
Right.
Anyway, so did all that, came off it. Yeah, afterwards had to have 2 surgeries. Knee surgery, had to have gynecomastia surgery. That was crazy. I mean, and the thing about taking steroids in general and how it felt to me, it's like you're sitting at a blackjack table, you're winning, but you can't really leave with your winnings. You know what I mean? You just got to kind of stay there. And even when my body now versus my body when I was, 19, 20, fairly similar. Similar shaping. Maybe I kept a little bit more of the muscle mass from the drugs, but I've been off it for so long now. I just attribute that to consistency over time.
What is your, shifting the topic for a second? I know in your gym you have cold plunge and you have a sauna that you just got. I think I saw on social.
Yeah, we've had both since day one. Yeah.
Talk to me about your recovery, and I know it's very important. And like you talk a lot about recovery, so
I like contrast therapy.
Yeah,
just
same.
Overarching. I feel like there's more and more data points coming out about the cold plunge around weight training, specifically about the timing of it.
How often are you doing it? Are you doing it if I were you and I had it available, I would do it all the time.
Yeah, and that's the annoying part. Like I should be doing way more.
Oh my
I should be doing it way more. I would say on a normal week, 2 times a week, I'm doing sauna cold plunge. I should probably be doing it 3 to 4.
How many minutes?
I try to go 15 to 20 minutes in the sauna.
Oh my gosh, you do?
But dude,
I mean the cold plunge.
200 degrees. Oh, cold plunge, maybe a minute and a half.
Oh, that's it.
Maybe, probably a minute.
I mean, I don't think, everyone's like, oh, I did 5 minutes. I'm like, do you have to? I mean, I feel like after a minute and a half.
Also, what kind of cold plunge are they in? Like if you're in one that doesn't constantly circulate the water, like if you're sitting in just like a cold bathtub, let's say, your body's naturally going to create this like heat around you, like a body shield. If the water's not circulating, it's kind of like after a minute or two, I don't really know what you're doing.
Right.
I use it more for the true contrast or the shocking the system in both ways.
That's what I like for it.
It seems like the sauna has a lot more tangible data when it comes to long-term benefits.
Do you do, I know you have the contrast, so do you do like sauna, plunge, or are you doing one?
I like to end in the sauna. So I'll do
Yeah.
sauna and then maybe like a quick 1 minute, minute and a half plunge and then back to
back in the
sauna.
That's what I like too. I like the 1-2-1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's typically what I go to.
What do you do as far as like, are you a fan of like compression leggings?
Yeah, we have compression boots as well, especially when I'm in a big training block running wise. I love the compression boots. Sore legs always feels really great. Lately, I've been adding in a lot more like dry needling and acupuncture. I'll go do that like twice a week.
So I've been doing that too. Where are you going?
There's got Dr. Oliver, who's amazing. He's on 30th and 7th.
What do you feel about, how do you feel about the acupuncture? Because I've been going like once a month. I mean, I hate it because I hate needles.
Yeah, it's
and the
very
dry
painful.
needling like literally drives me insane. But I like the results and the benefits.
Yeah, basically that. So I had when I first got the bone bruise injury, I had some crazy inflammation in my knee, and it was like that for probably 8 weeks or so. And then when I added in this acupuncture dry needling, the swelling seemed to go down almost instantaneously, which was really cool. But I'll do this Dr. Oliver I go to, he'll do the needles and then put one of those like electrocuting things on there, like zzz, 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 zzz. Those awesome. I mean, it hurts obviously, and it's very painful. But those type of things are the only modalities that I feel like are actually moving the needle in some direction. Like I think it really does force your body to respond to that, because that's what I needed. Like I took 6 weeks off from any sort of high intensity load or any sort of heavy pounding load. Like it was all low impact, but like nothing seemed to change. And so starting to add in different things that actually cause maybe some sort of discomfort in the body, but I feel like my body responded well to that. So I think it's helping my recovery.
I do think that it's important for you to like make your body uncomfortable for results, right? 100%.
Yeah.
Like for me, like acupuncture again, my client, Dr. Howell, who will be a guest on this podcast. He's amazing. But there's been times where I've gone to his treatment and there are needles from like my forehead down.
Isn't that nice though? Yeah.
On my like Adam's apple. I'm like, is this an actual thing? I hate
Is
it
it
so much.
supposed to go there?
I'm sweating so bad. I'm breaking out. I'm literally wet all over the place because I'm sweating because it's so uncomfortable for me, but I want the result. But I hate it, but I like the results.
It's like, who's the first person that discovered that? You know, like some Eastern medicine, whatever. They're like, let's stick it in the Adam's apple.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, when he put it right here on my, well, this is not the Adam's apple. What is this? Like right in your throat, in between your collarbone. And he put there and he twists it. I'm like, what are you doing? And then it's all over my fingers and my toes.
dude,
I'm
right
just like,
here, awful. Like right there in that thumb crease.
Right, what is that? Like, between your index finger and your thumb. Oh, I hate it all. I hate it all.
Ideal.
But I'm so tense, but it works. I like that feeling whenever you're done with acupuncture where you almost feel like you're drunk. You almost feel like you had like
it feels like you
6
kicked.
beers, like you're walking down the street, and you're like stumbling around. Like I have no idea where I am, what's going on. To get on the subway to get back uptown. Do you have clients that are a lot younger than you that look up to you, that want to, achieve some of the things that you have done with your body and your fitness as an endurance athlete? And do you steer them away from steroids, testosterone, things like that, or do you encourage them to go in a certain direction?
Yeah, I mean, currently speaking, I do have I train a couple of my clients' kids, and they're 15, 16, 17, or whatever. I'm obviously not going to tell them to hop on tests,
Right.
But we don't. It's more me talking to them. Like I'm talking to them about what's going on in their life. They probably have no idea the things that I've done, and that's fine. Like they don't care either.
Yeah.
They're dealing with their own shit. There's only been one time that I had a client, and this is when I lived in Texas, and I was actually on steroids at that time. I was training again. I was 21, 22. I was training a kid. He was 18, I think. And he came in, and from session 1, he's like, yeah, we went to high school together, me and this kid, or he was in the same school, friends with my brother. He was like, hey, I want to get on, I want to take steroids right now. I want to look like you, and I want it to happen right now. Obviously, I'm going to say, no, it's dumb. And the reason I told him he shouldn't do that is because he had no foundation of lifting. Like when I started steroids, I had been lifting for 5 years. Like I had put in the time to build a solid foundation. Yes, I was fast tracking things, but I had the daily disciplines needed to get the most out of what I was doing. I was just raising my ceiling, right? I had the floor. I was raising my ceiling. He, on the other hand, he didn't have any sort of base like that. He worked out in high school, sure, but like he drank a lot of beer and went out every weekend and didn't really take care of himself, right? So our relationship ended because I was like, I'm not going to do this. You don't want to do this. We did 2 or 3 workouts and he stopped showing up. I think I saw him like a year later, and he had taken steroids. and he looked horrible. Like he just did not look great. He was just this big blob of a human.
Right. Without any of the foundations of actually knowing what to do.
Yeah.
And because eventually you're going to have to get on it or off of it, and you won't know. And your body
1000%.
is just like kind of messed up now for the rest of your life.
Dude, you messed up his hormones for what? Like for what? Why'd you do that? Like I had a plan, maybe it wasn't a great plan, but I had a semblance of a plan of like, okay, when I get off this, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take a PCT, I'm gonna get my post-cycle therapy done, blah, blah, blah. And then everything seemed to work out fine. Whereas he was just, call it blast and cruise, if you will. He blasted a ton of test, a ton of trend, and like was gonna ride out on that, but then just stopped working out and he was still eating a lot. And it's like, he just didn't look great. So that's the only specific instance I can think of where somebody came to me with like, hey, I want to do exactly what you're doing. Didn't listen to my advice. I was like, you need to train for 2 or 3 years, then you can hop on. Right. Then like I'll support you fully if you can be consistent for 2 or 3 years. You didn't want to do it. You want to wait. Yeah.
Where do you see yourself, as you now are 2 years into your business, where do you want Performance HQ to go? Are you and Ben aligned, your business partner, Ben, aligned with where the vision of Performance is? Are you going to open up another space? Are you looking at anything different? What are you thinking?
I would say business-wise, that's what keeps me up the most right now is like, okay, we're growing at a good pace. We're ahead of where we expected to be at the 2-year mark, which is great. But it's like, okay, I'm reading the tea leaves a little bit, and it's kind of like, what are the options for growth? I think we've talked about this briefly. What are the options for growth, and what's the scalability look like? Because full transparency, this is not a business that's going to make us like $1 million. Like I don't foresee that happening unless some miracle occurs. But that doesn't mean it can't give us a good life. I think for now, for the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to continue growing as is. Me and my business partner, we are on the same team. We have different ideas on what that growth should look like. I think but we're good about testing out each of our theories, giving it 3 months, and then if it's not working, we'll adjust as needed and maybe try the opposite shoe. My goal, my hope is that Performance HQ is always a presence in New York City as long as my business partner is here, because he's from New Rochelle. Like he'll stay in this area, I think probably forever. Like I would imagine family's here or whatever. So my dream is to take what I've learned here and eventually move probably to Oklahoma City, to be honest. That's where my family is now. So I'd probably move to Oklahoma City. I would love to open up a space there. Like I think that I'll always have my finger on the pulse of fitness in some form or fashion. But again, a lot of these gyms, I don't foresee being like, they're not gonna make me $1 million. And I don't need that necessarily, but I want businesses that are gonna thrive without me having to be there 10 hours a day, And so I think that this has given me enough experience in entrepreneurship to maybe pivot into other things while still maintaining a presence in fitness. Does that make sense?
It does.
So Performance HQ will stay in New York City. My goal is to open up a place in Oklahoma City, have that kind of run itself, and then maybe look at other endeavors.
I could totally see you with like this like cool gym, and I see like a dog running around, maybe a little Trevor, like running around too.
Hitting dumbbell curls at 4 years old.
Totally.
It's like, yeah, lift more.
I mean, I think that you are, wiser beyond your years. The little interaction that you and I have with each other, I've always, again, like I said in the beginning, I've always admired you. So I really appreciate you sharing your story today.
Yeah.
But now we're going to do a little rapid fire.
Oh, I love that.
Let's talk about a morning ritual that you never skip.
For me, it's coffee, sadly. I wish I had a better ritual of like
You are a
meditation or
coffee
something,
guy.
but dude,
Coffee
I'm
and
just
Domino's.
caffeine all day, every day. Yeah.
Are you still a Domino's person? I asked you that.
I had to
last
stop since I can't run as much. I got to like try to take care of my body.
Yeah.
I was looking a little pudgy.
All right. So one recovery habit that everyone underestimates.
Sleep. Free.
Yeah.
Literally free.
Totally.
I've had to prioritize that lately a little more.
How many hours do you get a night?
I'm now getting about 7, which is a huge upgrade. It used to be about 6.
Okay. I'm at 8 now.
Yeah. Dude, 8 would be...
I mean, I have to. I'm old.
I got to do better.
I'm just like,
Fortnite
I can fall
interrupts a
asleep
lot
right
of my
now.
sleep, yeah.
Not that you're boring. I'm just saying.
I'm very boring. It's okay.
What is a belief about fitness that you've unlearned over the past couple of years?
I think that the belief that one thing is all you should do. Does that make sense?
Oh, that makes sense.
Like
I like that.
having a balance of a lot of things
Yeah.
will make you a more complete person versus just doing one thing
I like
forever.
that. That's a good answer. I'm choosing the same answer for myself if anyone ever asks me.
Love that. Love that.
What does being in shape actually mean to you now?
Ooh, yeah, that's changed a lot as well,
Yeah,
just over
sounds
the
like-
last 16 weeks. I think independence of movement, I think, is being in shape. And that, I think you can tie that into a lot of different things. I believe I've told you a story about my grandmother. She,
Yep.
man, she got sick and stopped moving her body, and just the rate of her kind of falling, it's crazy to see, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that her moving more would have solved that, or would have led to a better quality of life. Maybe not. I don't know. But I think independence of movement is movement freedom. And when you have movement freedom, I think you feel a lot more confident just in yourself and your ability to do things.
Movement is a mindset. It really is. And I think that's very important. Again, I'm turning 46 next week. And, as I've aged through my 40s, I recognize the importance of habits and things that I have to do to make sure that I feel stronger, feel healthy, because I don't want to be 70 years old and having pain or having like immobilization.
Immobilized.
Well, thank you for being here.
Of course. Thank you.
I love talking to you. And I wish you and Performance HQ and Mallory the best success.
Thanks.
So, for all of you listening and watching, thank you for listening to the Mind Body Method podcast. You've listened to me and Trevor Franklin. Trevor's gym is Performance HQ in Union Square, New York City, and his Instagram is twfrank111, and mine is joshgrim_fitnut, FITNUT. So please like, subscribe, share everything. Any questions is mindbodymethodpodcast.com. See you next Wednesday. Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me today on Mind Body Method. This podcast is part of Pride House Media, hosted by me, Josh Grimm, produced and edited by Josh Rosenzweig. Original music composed by Nell Balabin. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And while you're there, leave us a rating and review. It really helps others to discover the show. I love to stay connected with you, so join the conversation by following me at joshgrim_fitnut on Instagram, and by emailing me at questions@mindbodypodcast.com.